Hey Narwhals, and welcome back to some more weight loss stories. And please tap subscribe to join the original 100k Narwhals. If you want to lose weight effectively, read this. I'm a 20-year-old male who's been active my whole life. I played 3 sports in high school and would lift weights 5 times a week. I've weighed around 220 to 230 pounds for the past 4 years until this year. I started my weight loss journey in January, and as of today, I am 175 pounds and I'm slightly stronger than I was at 220 to 230. First, you can run 10 miles a day, but if you come home and eat a box of donuts, you will not lose weight. Weight loss is 95% diet and 5% working out. The first thing you should do is look up your total daily energy expenditure and set your activity level as sedentary. Your TDEE is the amount of calories you burn every day by just being alive. This number is not 100% accurate, it's simply an estimate. If you want to lose 1 pound a week, eat 500 less calories. If you want to lose 2 pounds a week, eat 1,000 less calories. Now, you can add the amount of calories that you burn while working out, but just know that Fitbits and Apple Watches will greatly overestimate the amount of calories that you are actually burning. My recommendation is to simply guess and check. Let's say your TDEE is 2,000 calories and you think you will burn about 250 a day. This means that if you eat 2250 calories a day, you will stay at the same weight. I would eat 500 to 1,000 less calories for about 2 weeks, and if you lose anywhere from 1 to 2 pounds a week, your estimate is pretty good. If you aren't losing any weight, you're eating too much and you need to lower your calorie intake. Remember, your weight will fluctuate every single day, so be sure to look at weekly trends and make sure that your weight is trending down over the course of 2 weeks or so. Second, download an app such as MyFitnessPal and track your calories. Everything that you eat should be tracking. If you do this, you know exactly how many calories you're eating and can hold yourself accountable. Third, don't drink your calories. Never ever drink your calories if you are trying to lose weight. And do you know how filling a glass of juice or milk is? Not very. If you can cut out liquid calories, you will save yourself so many calories that you can put towards food instead. Drink water. Drink tons and tons of water, and when you aren't thirsty anymore, drink some more. A lot of times you aren't really hungry, and by drinking water, you can satisfy some cravings. You don't need to quit soda cold turkey. Switch to diet soda, it's okay. Sure, diet soda isn't as good for you as water, but guess what? It has 0 calories. You don't need to drink 12 Diet Dews a day, but if you can't get over soda, just switch to diet. Fourth, eat low-calorie dense foods. What do I mean by this? 85 grams of spinach is about 20 calories, while there are 450 calories in 85 grams of peanuts. You need to find foods that have low amounts of calories per gram. Nobody is getting fat off of spinach. If you like salads, eat them all the time. Cut the dressings and sauces. Do you know how many calories are in 2 tablespoons of ranch? 140. Do not waste calories on high-calorie dressings and sauces. You can find dressing and sauces that are low in calories, and this is essential in losing weight. Some examples of low-calorie dense foods are spinach, lettuce, chicken breasts, egg whites, most vegetables, and lean turkey. Eat 4 to 5 meals a day if you can. Make sure these meals are relatively low in calorie, and the total calories between them add up to the amount you have set for yourself. If you can spread out your meals, you can satisfy your cravings more often. Also, eat lots of protein and fiber, as those tend to fill you up and make you full. Fifth, macros do not matter that much. Eat carbs and fats if you want. All of weight loss is just being in a calorie deficit. Hell, if you want to lose weight eating McDonald's every day, you could if you tracked your calories and ate very little of it. Obviously, you shouldn't do this, but I'm just trying to show you that you will lose weight if you burn more calories than you eat. Sixth, it's okay to have a bad day. I didn't follow my diet to a T every single day, and I still lost a lot of weight. The important thing is to limit the amount of bad days you have and to not let one cheat day turn into 2. Stay consistent. Finally, weight loss is all on you. You can do this. Don't expect to lose 30 pounds in a month. Be consistent with it and try to change your diet for the better, so when you are done losing weight, you have a healthy and sustainable diet that you can follow for the rest of your life and keep the weight off. Anti-binge tip that works for me. Recently, I've been reading Never Binge Again by Glenn Livingston, and it has been very helpful. One of the main principles is to understand that the voice in your head convincing you to give up on your diet and binge is not a kind, nurturing voice, and that giving up and treating yourself to junk food is not self-loving and self-care, because it deprives you of the weight loss that you're working towards and the self-confidence and satisfaction that comes with eating healthily. He suggests trying to observe those urges and see that voice that convinces you to binge as something separate from you rather than a part of you, and to even get angry at it. In order to do this, he advises to give the voice a nickname, such as the pig or the lizard brain. I had tried doing this, but it hadn't worked for me. However, recently I came up with a new idea. I'm sure many other people have thought of this before me, so I'm not trying to take credit or anything. Basically, I think of a person in my life that I really dislike. I think it works even better if that person is thinner than me, and then imagine that they are the one convincing me to binge. Like, go on, just this once. It won't hurt. You can start again tomorrow. And then laughing at me if I give in. Every time I don't give in to the urge, I imagine them being frustrated and worried that soon I will defy them and reach my weight loss goal. This might sound a bit crazy/extreme to some people, but for me, weight loss is really a mental battle, and this has helped me to stop giving up every day, so I thought I'd share. And that does make sense, because in reality, a lot of people are that voice. They try to sabotage your progress by telling you to treat yourself. People at my work do it all the time. Some even make out like I'm depriving myself of happiness by saying they don't care what they look like. They just eat what they want. It helps me to remember that I'm not losing weight to just look better. I'm losing weight to be healthier and improve my quality of life. I never had much success when I wanted to be thin rather than to be healthy. Well, unfortunately, I kinda was this person, sorta. My family definitely eats unhealthy, and when my sister really started to take her diet seriously, I definitely wasn't supportive. I didn't block her, but basically always rolled my eyes. Rather than admitting that we all eat unhealthy and also way too much, I just saw my sister as making things complicated for everyone when she had, for example, such a little breakfast, or didn't want to order pizza like everyone else. I distinctly remember at Christmas where everyone took a second plate except my sister, and I somehow felt like I'm the better person and she's making things difficult. Frig knows why I would ever think like that. Bless her, but people have some crazy thoughts to justify their own behavior instead of admitting failure to themselves. And taking accountability was the hardest thing for my weight loss journey, for sure. My journey from 250 pounds to 190. And background. For as long as I can remember, I envied the people I played sports with and worked out with. We all put in the same amount of effort, yet I continued to remain overweight. It was like a sick inside joke that I wasn't a part of. I read bodybuilding magazines, took supplements, but to no avail. I've been battling weight issues my entire life, and it was something that had been subconsciously and negatively influencing my self-esteem and dating life, among other things. When I was young, I ate whatever I pleased. I was cared for by several family members, which in turn led to a very irregular eating patterns. I became overweight at the age of 8 and never returned. Luckily, my family pushed athletics very hard, so I was extremely physically active. Despite being a 3 varsity letterman in rugby, track and field, and football, it just wasn't enough to tame my eating habits. I graduated in high school at a strong 240 pounds. Fast forward to college, where instead of experiencing the freshman 15 or 50, I actually had the freshman minus 50. I lost a bunch of weight due to limited funds and having a meal plan. Great. Unfortunately, once that stopped, the weight came back. Fast forward to the time after college up until about 2 years ago. During this 10-year period, I ate horribly, despite running upwards of 10 miles per week. I simply didn't understand the logic behind energy balance and healthy eating. Mind you, during this time, I wasn't actively seeking to lose weight, as I had been sorting out other more pressing issues, but it was something that deeply affected me. Clearly, I desired to be fit, or else I wouldn't have been running religiously. At my worst, I was at 265 pounds. Once I got on my own, I was able to make my own food choices. I was lifting heavily and playing basketball 3 to 4 times per week. I was 250 pounds at this time. I would work out, probably burn off 800 calories, and then go eat 1,500 calories of Chinese food as my dinner, on top of a hearty breakfast and lunch. I was completely oblivious to how much food I had been eating. It's quite tragic reminiscing on these times when I look at the calories and fast food today. Keto. I decided to try out keto in late 2018. I bought a ketone monitor, tailored my diet towards a low amount of carbs, and learned as much as I could on YouTube about it. I lost about 30 pounds in no time. This was a crucial turning point in my life. I finally realized how devilish added sugar is. Unfortunately, I didn't last long with keto. It was about 6 months of on and off, where my mental energy really took a toll from not sticking with the diet long enough as required to make the physiological shift to primarily burning fat. Intermittent fasting. I decided to give IF, intermittent fasting, a try. It was so effective for me because I realized I could just wait until lunch to eat every day. I just slam water to stay full. Suddenly, I'm able to eat quite a bit of food for lunch and dinner, leaving me satiated. This, in addition to giving up sugar for another few months, got me down to around 200 to 210. I'd say I was eating around 2,400 calories, and although I had a regimented eating pattern, I wasn't fully disciplined. I was still going to the bar and drinking whatever, not paying attention to what I ate at restaurants, etc. Satiety. Right before the pandemic hit, I would hover from 200 to 210 pounds. The gyms closed, which presented the perfect time to do absurd amounts of running, which I did. Despite the increased calorie burn, I still couldn't break 200 pounds. It was a plateau. I went back to the drawing board, recalculated my caloric intake and energy expenditure, only to realize I needed to drop my calories to 2,100. This was going to be tough, as I felt 2,400 calories wasn't enough. I started adding more vegetables. People listen, they tell you to eat vegetables for a reason. This gave me increased satiety and kept me quite regular, I might add. TMI. Additionally, I ran to my protein heavily, where I'd have roughly 60 grams per meal. This worked. One of the major roadblocks people have when going to healthier eating habits is that they just don't feel satisfied. This, honestly, is one of the top 3 things you must learn to ensure continued success with your diet. When you realize this, your diet will become your lifestyle. A conclusion. Weight loss is definitely hard, but it's not that hard if you do it right. Given my athletic background, I realized that burning the calories isn't so much of a challenge for me as it is for others. It, however, really comes down to what you're eating. Clearly, my training did absolutely nothing for my entire life because I ate poorly. When you fully comprehend that the body is a machine whose energy balance can be calculated, or where you can derive precisely the number of calories you need to lose fat, then you will have mastered living at a healthy weight. It's really one of those light bulb epiphany experiences. The single most helpful piece of advice I can give you is to go to a nutritionist, a personal trainer, or copy the meal plans of others who've succeeded. After that, I'd say have a regimented eating plan and know how many calories you're eating per day for 90% of your week. And give yourself a cheat meal or two, but stay within your daily caloric range. Lastly, I really want to drive home the concept of satiation. You can see that high protein, sugar control, preventing rebound hunger from blood sugar drops, and vegetables were the key to leaving me plenty satisfied. And that brings us to the end, Narwhals. Please tap subscribe to join the original 100K Narwhals. And lastly, here's our featured Narwhal of the Day. A female, 21, 5'6", 175 pounds to 135, 40 pounds loss, August 2020 to January 2021.